G'day folks and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review slash demo slash ramble about a reissue of the OG effects pedal,
the Maestro Fuzztone.
Maestro Fuzztone was first manufactured by Gibson in 1962, becoming basically the first ever branded, labelled effects pedal was sold to the public. And if you're not familiar with my series, The History of Guitar Distortion and Feedback, I've placed a link in the description box, because in episode 2 of that series, I explain the origin of the
Maestro Fuzztone.
And in episode 3, I talked about how Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones used it to emulate a horn riff in the song I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And from there, the
Fuzztone
as a thing really took off. But I won't bog you down with all the history here. Just have a look at the videos if you're interested. Some of you probably already know the history of the Maestro. And also I've got to warn you that I'll be talking more than I'll be playing. So if you like a straight demo, then you probably need to move on right now. Okay, so at the end of last year, I got quite excited when I heard that Gibson had launched a new series of pedals under the Maestro name, including
the Maestro Fuzztone.
So I knew that I just had to get me one. Now, it wasn't cheap. It cost me Aussie $300, which is a fair whack. I mean, it's not outrageously expensive for an effects pedal, but it's getting up there. You know, that's roughly $200 US, 150 quid in the UK. But yeah, $300. In fact, a couple of the guitars I'll be using to demonstrate
the Maestro Fuzztone
are pretty much worth less than this pedal. So anyway, that's the way it is. Yet in the US, I've actually heard this pedal referred to as a budget unit. So it must be a little bit of a markup coming across the seas. And also I paid for this pedal, so I'll be brutally honest about it, unlike some demos I've seen on this particular one, where it's fairly obvious that the reviewer had received a free one and felt obliged to say nice things. Well, I'm under no such obligation. Anyway, let's have a look at it. Okay, it kind of looks like a gift box. It's absolutely lovely. I love that silver foil work there with the trumpets on it, although they're probably bugles technically. That's the Maestro logo, really. It's really nice. We'll open it up. Okay, you've got a sticker there. That's a beautiful sticker. You know, I often like to put the pedal stickers on my guitar cases, but I'm not going to do it with this one. It's far too nice looking. And of course, you've got the instruction manual there. All right, well, look at it. It's got the wedge shape, which is fabulous. The original wedge shape, so they've really echoed back to that original unit. And I love the look of it too. I love this sort of late 50s, early 60s kind of look. In fact, I remember seeing on one of the reviews of this pedal in the comments section, someone referred to it as, you know, sad old bowling alley vibe or something. In fact, that's what I really like about it. It's got that late 50s, early 60s American look to it. I like that aesthetic. Yeah, looks great. Takes a 9-volt battery. So we'll click it on. Wow. Okay, these trumpets light up. Look at it. Isn't that gorgeous? In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to dim the lights a bit so I can really see that. So, well, yeah, looks-wise, this thing is the biz. We'll have to plug it in now. Now, first I'll be using the Fender Stratocaster, and I'm miking up the amp and also splitting the signal using a Joyo AC tone set in a fairly unobtrusive way, with zero drive and into the Scarlett interface. But it's mostly the mic'd up amp sound that you'll hear. Oh, and you can see here that the Maestro has 2 modes. You've got modern and classic. So I think I'll start with the classic. And here's the clean tone, very bland. Well, first impressions, well, there's some fuzzers you have to kind of play into. They almost dictate what you can and can't do, particularly octave fuzzers. But this one really just gives me a straight distortion feel right off the bat. I've got the fuzz on maximum, and it's just not that crazy. I mean, I like my fuzzers a lot more out of control than this thing, to be honest. It sounds fine, but even at maximum fuzz, it's not really that filthy. It doesn't have a lot of body to it either. It's quite thin sounding. So I'll try some lead playing. Yeah, well, you know, it's certainly trebly. Well, it's time to have a go at the modern setting, whatever that may mean. the modern setting is sharper, and it's even more like a distortion than a fuzz, and it's considerably louder too, which you can't really hear because I've used compression and stuff to keep this video sounding consistent. We'll see how it cleans up. I'll roll back the volume on the guitar as I go. It does clean up quite nicely, I must admit. So you've got something to work with there if that's really important to you. But overall, with the Strat, pretty underwhelming, especially for $300. All sizzle and no sausage, as we say here in Australia. Well, given that Satisfaction was recorded with a Les Paul, I assume, we'll give this a crack with a humbucker style guitar. Now here's the Artist Black Cherry, Gibson 335 style semi-hollow. It only cost me $30 more than this pedal did, actually. Yeah, instantly, this is roaring far more than the single coil. But again, it's just really fuzzy distortion. But the important thing is, does it do Satisfaction? Well, it certainly does. So there's a tick. Dare I say it, with the humbucker style guitar, it gives me more satisfaction. That's a neat sound. I actually really like that sound. I'll try a bit of cream with the neck pickup and the tone rolled off a bit. Yeah, it just doesn't fuzz out enough. But, I've had it on maximum the whole time. Then again, I realise I'm forgetting here that the original 1962 FZ1 or FZ1
Maestro Fuzz Tone,
or even its 1965 updated FZ2 has never really been considered that great a sounding pedal anyway. Historically, it's monumentally important, but it got superseded pretty quickly by other companies going for something a lot wilder, and really it got left behind. It's a bit like a Model T Ford. Immensely important historically, but would you really want to drive to and from work in one of those today? And so, it is what it is. Gibson are probably being quite technically accurate with the classic mode, giving us a taste of what the original unit did all those years ago, 60 years ago. So I should really cut them some slack. All right, we'll have a listen to the modern mode with the humbucker guitar. Now, I'm not a great demoer of pedals. I'm primarily a songwriter. I've never played in a covers band, so I don't have a great riff vocabulary. But also, this pedal is just not inspiring me at all either. Modern mode is louder and sharper. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it sounds good. That's all I can really say. Now, the original Maestro circuit was put into Gibson SG basses in the 60s. It was originally a bass effect, really. It was supposed to replicate like tuba sounds and sousaphones. And in fact, try to YouTube the demonstration record, the original demonstration record of
the Maestro Fuzz Tone.
It's quite hilarious, and I've used a fair bit of that on my episode 2 of my distortion and feedback doco. So we'll try it with some bass. Okay, gotta admit, that was a lot of fun. It kicks a fair bit of ass with the bass. But then again, most sort of fuzz pedals do, so yeah, it's maybe still not that special. Also, I realised that by keeping it on the same setting for all of these demos, I hadn't dealt with the tone knob, which is actually a pretty effective control on this thing. I've had it on 2 o'clock so far, so now I'm going to use the Artist Telecaster style guitar, which actually cost me $70 less than the pedal I'm putting it through. I've got it in full humbucker mode, and I'm going to play the Maestro with the tone at noon. So here goes. Now I'll crank it to 3 o'clock. And you can hear that it's not a huge difference. Now I'll roll it back to 9 o'clock. Actually, that sounded really nice. It's possibly the best tone I've got out of the Maestro yet. Because tone is a very personal thing. Everyone's got their own preference. I always tend towards the trebly, but actually, that was pretty sweet. We'll play that again. Yeah, that may have been the best sound I've pulled out of this thing, come to think of it. So now if you get one of these, yeah, certainly worth adjusting the tone control. Well, that's really it. That's
The Maestro Fuzz Tone.
done and dusted. Make of it what you will. I don't think it's that great, to be honest. I'd never use it in a recording. I certainly wouldn't add it to my pedal board, but I'm actually happy I bought it, believe it or not, because I like the way it looks. I like the fact that I own them.
Maestro Fuzz Tone.
You know, and some people collect model cars that they're never going to drive. They put them in a display cabinet and look at them. The trumpets are fabulous when you light them up. You know, I'm a man of pretty simple needs. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a look at those videos on history of guitar distortion and feedback. If you haven't seen them, I think you'd probably enjoy them if you're into pedals and stuff. And for my next video, I'm going to be looking at the next link in the chain, and that's a modern version of the Tone Bender. And we'll see how that one sounds. So if you want to know about that, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. And you can see that video when I put it out. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye for now.